Jesus wept.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured.
Sometimes that is better.
Afraid of the dark?
No, afraid of what's in the dark.
He got me, Charlie! He bit me!
Deputies report that in some instances, only parts of a corpse had been removed.
This is the Horror Drunks Podcast zombie episode. This is actually episode 10.
10.
This is a milestone.
It is.
Double digits.
Some people go like by fives and milestones, but those guys are fucking retards. So it would be like 10, 25, 50, and 100. Not every 25. The first 10 is important.
Yeah, like every milestone. But
Yeah.
The first 10's
podcasts-
important, but after that you just go by, 25s, I think, pretty much.
Yeah, 25s after
Is the
that.
way to do it.
And most podcasts give up after like 6 or 7 episodes usually, like that start off.
Yeah, we're go-hards.
Tryhards.
Try-hards, pretty much. Yeah.
Bunch of fucking amateurs.
Since this is a milestone, I guess, the next episode is going to be something that we're probably just going to one-off. We're going to do a really bad film
It's
episode.
our fluff episode.
Really terrible.
Our regret episode.
I don't know, I like the movie that I'm going to do. It's just, it's
Yeah,
fitting.
same
It's
here.
fitting to the theme of the episode.
I mean, the movie I'm doing is the one that kicked it all off for me as far as my love for horror.
Yeah.
And it's probably the worst thing ever put on VHS, for sure. It is. Just wait. You're going to see
I've
it.
seen the trailer. Oh boy.
I guess I'm not even sure.
And the director's a friend on my Facebook, so I'm gonna have to like hide it from him. I think, like just block him from seeing it because I don't want, the guy feels terrible about what he did, anyways, probably. So, even though there's 5 of them,
5 of them.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if there were 4 sequels.
I mean, they were just locally shot. This is like, this first film was a huge production, and then after that, like, he couldn't get buyers for.
Oh.
So yeah, he just shoots them on his camcorder.
So it's kind of like that, the American movie guy,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Like,
Colvin guy.
yeah.
Colvin.
Do you want to do the plug, Scott, before we get into this?
Sure. You guys can check us out on iTunes. Just look for us under the Horror Drunks Podcast. We're on Facebook under the Horror Drunks Podcast. Instagram. We have
Can
we're
hear your
at,
bong.
at the Horror Drunks Podcast. We actually just created a Twitter account, so follow us there at the Horror Drunks, and you can also email us at thehorrordrunkspodcast@gmail.com.
I feel like the bong is an important sound effect.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I like to hear bongs in things, so naturally.
it's a
everyone else
representative
should
of
as
your
well.
lifestyle, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So zombies.
Zombie films have, they've come a long way since the original run of zombie films with like things like White Zombie. That was more to the theme of like literal Haitian voodoo practices and like trying to enslave someone's mind and bend their will and use them to whatever purpose that you want. And the first movie to kind of really bridge the gap between that and what we know of as zombie films today that I can think of is Hammer's Plague of the Zombies, and I want to say that's like 63. I think that's 63 or 65, but I'm almost sure it's 63. And then obviously you get Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But in between there were films that had an effect on the genre too, because without The Last Man on Earth there would be no Night of the Living Dead. Obviously, Night of the Living Dead is like a huge, huge homage to The Last Man on Earth. There have been things that influenced and affected the way the zombie film was going to go that weren't even necessarily zombie films, but obviously the big game changer was Night of the Living Dead. It's everything that's come since then has been pretty much derivative of that, at least.
As far as what we know as zombies.
Yeah, this is the archetypal zombie. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there are a few rule changes. Like sometimes they run, but it's not very frequent. And frankly, I prefer a slow moving zombie.
Yeah, there was some movie, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but they started off with like the older zombies were the ones that were all like rickety and couldn't run because of rigor mortis and just
Right.
rotting away, and then like the fresh zombies were the ones that would get up and move quick. I thought that was kind of a cool concept, but you don't see that very often.
I mean, frankly, the idea of a zombie apocalypse is laughable because a year to 2 years maximum after the initial infection, when the bulk of the population was converted to a zombie, they would all be rotten and dead and gone.
Yeah.
And not a worry anymore anyway. But, whatever. Don't overthink things.
No.
Yeah, but now the zombie genre has gotten to a point where everything is saturated in zombies.
Oh yeah, it's been that way for. I would say that the movie that's like really responsible for the modern zombie avalanche was probably Shaun of the Dead.
I was just thinking that.
I mean that movie kicked the doors open not only for like mainstream zombie movies but like zomcoms galore.
Oh yeah.
I mean after that it was just like fucking avalanche.
Yeah, it's like even in video
Fido and Boy Eats Girl.
Fido.
games. Yeah.
Billy Connolly's.
Fido's okay.
I mean, it's, yeah, but that I don't look at it as.
Yeah, even video games are like saturated with zombies.
Yeah,
everything's zombies now.
Zombies. But I mean, like every episode, we didn't necessarily select these films based on their importance to the genre. I feel like generally we mostly try to pick more obscure things or things that are important to us personally. So I mean, I think we've got some pretty good representations of the different eras of zombie films and like different kinds of zombie films. There's Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, the slow zombie outbreak and infestation. The Dead Next Door is like massive zombie apocalypse, and you even have the zombie slasher subgenre crossover with the House by the Cemetery. So pretty good representation of mostly modern zombie stuff. The Silver Age and forward, I guess I should say.
Do we want to do the whole what we've been watching?
Yeah,
So what have you been watching?
I've watched a lot of stuff in the last week, actually. I watched this movie called Seventh Day. It's like a newer, independent, I think it's shot on digital. It's like 7 days in the life of a serial killer. It's a really, really, really great movie. Lots of cool gore, and one of the most realistic depictions of what I would view like a literal serial killer's life to be like. Just really pathetic and disgusting and unable to really function in society above like just a base level. It's really well done. I watched Maniac Cop. Watched Maniac
Awesome.
Cop. Because we watched Maniac, I was
Yeah.
like, watch Maniac Cop. It's awesome as usual, as always. Watched that Nymphomaniac, both volumes of that. Would have to recommend that to any fan of exploitation, art house, gutter, filth with a message.
I revisited Bride of the Reanimator for the commentary. 'Cause I remember I enjoyed that.
Like on the new Arrow one or the old Artisan one?
I think it's the art. It's the only one that has the commentary.
I don't know if that new Arrow one has a different commentary than the old Artisan version or not.
I mean, I don't have the
I
Blu-ray.
can look.
I don't have the Blu-ray, and I'm pretty sure the commentary's on the Blu-ray also. But
yeah. I also watched Prom Night 3. Never seen that before. It was fucking fantastic. Like
in a bad way.
yeah, just terrible, awful, horrible, amazing, great, hilarious. It was like kind of like Bud the Chud, bad comedy horror. Oh man,
Wow.
it was really
I'll have to see it.
totally entertaining from start to stop. There was never like a moment that I wasn't like, it's good.
I'll definitely have to watch that one then.
You can tell that there are a couple of edits that would be cool to have like the gore restored in, but What did you watch this week?
Okay. Nah.
Squat.
I basically watched 2 movies that I've seen before and then a new one. The ones that I've seen before, I'll just go over quickly. One, I didn't know it, but Addams Family was on Netflix, so I was like, oh, screw it, why not?
This is the
Rewatch
this one.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, that movie's amazing.
Yep, I was like, I'll rewatch this, and yeah, that's just a classic. And then I ended up finishing Stranger Things, which was fucking phenomenal.
You still ain't seen that, Randy?
I haven't finished it yet, but I do have a little gripe about it, even though I haven't seen it yet. I hear that like the monster is totally CG, and for a series that's like an homage to the 80s and everything 80s, they really should have had some
Practical
rubber effects, latex.
Yeah, because the monster itself could have easily been done like that. Like, the place where it came from, that probably would have had to be a lot of CGI. That cost a lot for production design, if not. But, yeah, if there was one gripe, that would be it for me. Like, the CG monster. But, all in all, that show was fantastic. Like,
Yeah, I
I can't
liked
rave
it.
about it enough.
I liked it. I don't think it's the best one of the year, the best series of the year. But
Definitely one of Netflix's better shows, I think.
yeah, I can't think of any. Oh, Bloodline was good.
I don't think I've seen that one, but
Fucking
yeah.
Wet Hot American Summer, dude.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was,
yeah, I
God,
forgot they did that.
That's like the funniest.
But then, yeah, the next movie I ended up watching that I've seen before was Adam Green's Hatchet. Fucking love that movie.
Still ain't seen the Hatchet movies.
Hatchet's really good.
Yeah, that
Hatchet
is
2 and 3 are a lot less good, but Hatchet's fucking really good.
Yeah, and it looks fucking great on Blu-ray.
The gore is top notch.
Yeah.
It's the best gore that Buchler ever did.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it's the best effects that he ever did. It's the best gore that he ever did.
that movie was just soaked in blood. And it just had just fun. It was just a fun time watching that again.
So here's our first film.
Is that you, Martin?
Our first movie is called Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, or
Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, if you like Electric Wizard.
And apparently 14 other titles, but I didn't look those up.
Yeah, 1974, directed by Jorge Grau. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it was pronounced George.
George Grau. Okay, George Grau. Effects by De Rossi. Obviously, you can't say enough good stuff about that fellow. The score is Giuliano Sorgini, I think, is what I wrote there. So the movie starts. We're in an antique store. We meet our protagonist, the hero George. He's closing for an holiday. He's taking some things with him on his motorcycle. George is a hipster. If George were alive today, he would be a hipster, and any hipster who were alive then would look like George.
Yeah.
But I still like George.
yeah, he kind of looks like Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees.
For the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting fact about the Bee Gees. I'll keep inputting Bee Gees trivia as you talk, though. Hold on. Just go ahead.
Okay, so, yeah, as he's...
They're a three-piece.
as he's going through the country...
I think 2 of them are dead.
Going to the country, there are a lot of shots of smog and pollution.
John Travolta loves them guys a lot.
People in medical masks. There's the
Saturday Night Fever was a soundtrack to my life. Okay, go ahead.
the traffic activist streaker. I don't know, just for funsies, I guess. It was-
Yeah.
I suppose streaking was a big form of activism in the 60s and the early 70s, so whatever. George stops for gas, and Edna is there in her car getting gas as well, and he walks away to get like a soda or something.
Yeah, it's a woman driver, so you can kind of predict what's going to happen.
She backs over his car, or his motorbike, and fucks up his wheel, and a bunch of other stuff. And he leaves it there for repairs, and talks her into taking